Welcome, everybody. This is Dr. Mark Feldman, the Executive Director of the New York State Dental Association, and I am delighted to be hosting this presentation on Social Security Optimal Choice Program, a new benefit being provided by Altfest Personal Wealth Management. And I would like to let you know that the New York State Dental Association Support Services, which is a subsidiary of the State Dental Association, its purpose is to find and develop business services that appeal and provide value to members of the association. Now, our NSS board had long been looking for a financial services firm to help members better plan for their financial future. We knew that many members had various accounts and relationships with bankers, stockbrokers, mutual fund companies, insurance companies, accountants. The list can go on and on and on. And this scattershot approach to financial management is not uncommon among health professionals. The problem, however, is that it is really not the best way to maximize your assets and secure your financial future. So, our objective at NSS was to identify an independent, fee-only financial planning and management firm that would provide our members with a comprehensive approach to managing their money and coordinating it with all aspects of their financial future. After soliciting proposals from numerous firms, our board chose Altfest Personal Wealth Management due to their familiarity with health professionals and their long track record of success. Altfest helps dentists and other clients manage their money and coordinate that with other important issues, just like estate planning, tax planning, retirement planning, and career transitions. In fact, I am a satisfied client of the firm myself. Now, we all know that part of everyone's retirement picture are Social Security benefits. Most people have no idea about the multiple options there are when accessing Social Security benefits. And while there have been hundreds of articles written on the subject, there is just simply no one-size-fits-all solution. And that's why it's important to discuss your personal situation with a professional so they can help you decide the best course of action by considering your career plan, your marital status, your expected benefits, and all of the Social Security regulations. And that's why we're glad to be working with Altfest to provide this short webinar. The Social Security Optimal Choice Program allows NYSDA members ages 60 to 66 to benefit from professional financial counsel at no cost regarding how to make optimal claiming decisions regarding Social Security retirement benefits for themselves and spouses, if applicable. So without any further ado, I'd like to now introduce the two principals who will be conducting this seminar, Mr. Paul Palazzo, the Managing Director of Altfest, and his colleague, Mr. Michael Prendergast, a director of the firm. Michael, I believe you'll be kicking things off, so I think I'll turn this over to you now, and thank you all again for participating.
Thank you very much, Dr. Feldman, and thanks again to everyone for attending today's webinar. Again, my name is Mike Prendergast, and my colleague Paul Palazzo and I are the co-directors of Altfest Personal Wealth Management's Dental Practice Group. Altfest has been working with dentists for a long time and has been the endorsed investment and financial planning firm of NYSDA that NYSDA and Altfest have put together to provide member benefits for NYSDA members like yourselves. What we plan to cover in today's webinar is the following. I'm going to be going over why NYSDA and Altfest are providing this benefit to NYSDA members. I will then briefly explain who Altfest is for those of you who are unfamiliar with us. I'll then cover why NYSDA and Altfest thinks it makes great sense for NYSDA members to participate in NYSDA's newest member benefit, Social Security Optimal Choice. And then my colleague Paul Palazzo will then go over how the program will work and what NYSDA members need to do to participate. Lastly, we'll take a couple of questions and then we'll end the session. Why is NYSDA providing this benefit? Four main reasons. One, as you know, NYSDA is always trying to provide value to its members, whether via powerful presence in the state legislature, business development programs, peer review, a clinical journal, and much, much more. The New York State Dental Association is always striving to provide real value to its members. We also want to promote financially independent retirement for members like yourselves. NYSDA understands that with all the demands on your time, your practice, your family, your professional and personal commitments, it can be difficult to optimize your entire personal financial life continuously to achieve the retirement you have always hoped for. By providing concrete professional guidance on this one aspect of retirement planning, NYSDA and Altfest hope to help. Number 3, providing access to specialized expert advice. Altfest has been helping people make educated decisions regarding Social Security retirement benefits for decades. It's one of the many services we provide our ongoing advisory clients, and NYSDA and Altfest are now making this service available to you. And also, the 4th reason why NYSDA is providing this benefit is it allows members to learn more about Altfest's ongoing services. So by taking advantage of this member benefit, you have the opportunity to talk with Altfest about your specific situation and any concerns you might have regarding your finances. So let me just give a very brief overview of who Altfest is for those of you who aren't aware. Altfest Personal Wealth Management is an independent, family-owned financial advisory firm. We've been in business since 1983. It's family-owned and run for now 31 years. 100% objective advice with no commissions or products. As Dr. Feldman was saying, Altfest is a fee-only firm, and that means that we only receive compensation from our actual clients so that we can always be 100% aligned with their best interests. We also have a legal fiduciary responsibility to always put our clients' interests first. 3, highly ranked by Financial Times and Barron's. Either Lou Altfest, our CEO and Chief Investment Officer, or our firm have been chosen as one of the best in the business by these 2 publications, and the firm and its leaders have received numerous awards and accolades over the years. We're, of course, endorsed by the New York State Dental Association as well as 5 regional component societies, and we're very proud to have earned that trust, and we work very hard every day to maintain it. Number 5 is commitment to educational programs for dentists. And since 2010, since we became the endorsed wealth management firm of NYSDA, Altfest has been speaking across New York State at district society meetings and at NYSDA Altfest created personal financial symposiums for dentists. Altfest has also written articles for district publications and has held classes to educate dentists about how to take care of their finances to achieve their life goals. So now let's go into why take advantage of this program. 4 major reasons. 1, the most important reason, is there potentially substantial dollars at stake. When one considers all the different options for claiming Social Security retirement benefits, when to take your benefits, when to take your spouse's benefit, when to take what's called a spousal benefit, which is a benefit that sometimes can be taken based on the earnings record of your spouse, it can become very confusing to know what to do. The difference between a mediocre claiming strategy and a smart claiming strategy can be tens of thousands of extra dollars over one's lifetime, sometimes even an extra in the low hundreds of thousands of dollars over the lifetime of a married couple. And we want to make sure that you get the money that you're entitled to. The second reason is that this is a complimentary service for NYSDA members. As Dr. Feldman said, there's absolutely no cost for participating in this program. It's just another complimentary benefit that NYSDA and Altfest have created to provide real, tangible value to NYSDA member dentists. Number 3, it's very easy to participate. NYSDA and Altfest have worked hard to make participating in this program as easy as possible. My colleague Paul Palazzo will shortly be explaining what you need to do to get your complimentary Social Security optimal choice analysis. And the 4th thing is peace of mind from having made an informed decision. We understand that you are busy and probably don't have the time and or interest in trying to figure out the right Social Security strategy for you. Altfest has been advising our clients, our ongoing clients, about how to take advantage of their Social Security retirement benefits for decades. By taking advantage of this program, you will receive professional, experienced guidance that will give you peace of mind, one fewer thing to worry about, and likely incremental dollars in your pocket over the course of your retirement, which can be then used to make a nicer retirement for yourself or for your heirs or charity or whatever thing is most meaningful to you. Now, what I'm about to do is right now hand over to my colleague Paul Palazzo, who's Managing Director at Altfest Personal Wealth Management, and he's going to tell you about how the program will work and what you need to do to take advantage of it. So thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you very much, Mike, and welcome to all of you who have taken time out of your busy schedules to join us today. As Mike alluded to, one of the things that makes this benefit so attractive for dentists in our view is that it can be obtained with very little effort on your part. So here's what you do. First, go to socialsecurity.gov to obtain your most recent benefit statements. As you may know, Social Security used to send out written statements in the mail to you once a year, and they no longer do that, but it's very quick and easy. Mike and I have both done it with our accounts, and it takes about 10 minutes online for each of you, you and your spouse, to each get your benefit statements. We found the instructions on the website to be quite clear, but if you have any questions, you can also use the step-by-step instructions that were included in the letter that you received from NYSDA last week. Now, that letter also included a couple of other questions that I promise will take you less than a minute to complete, as well as an envelope. So all you really need to do is place the Social Security statements, which you can download and print offline, and the page with your answers to the 2 or 3 questions in the envelope, and drop it in the mail to us. Now, we do understand that a few people may not have received envelopes with a letter last week. So if you were one of them, we want to provide that to you right now so that you can write it down. If you were one of those people who did not receive an envelope with our address on it to send in your material, here it is. And I'll just stick with this for a few seconds to give you a chance to finish writing it down. Okay. Now, one of the reasons we wanted to have this call with you today, so you'd be able to get to know us a little bit better, to put voices and pictures with the names and get to know a little bit the people at Altfest who have worked most closely with dentists and will be overseeing this special member benefit. Nevertheless, we understand that there may be 1 or 2 of you out there who are not entirely comfortable with sending us your official Social Security statements. So a moment ago, I alluded to the letter that you received from NYSDA last week, and there were a couple of questions. There's a second part of that form that you can fill out, also very brief, that you can fill out and send to us in lieu of your Social Security statements. It'll essentially contain the same numbers, and we'll be able to use that for the analysis that we do. So now, once you've sent off your information to us, once we have it, we'll do the analysis, we'll create the report, and we will contact you to arrange a time to discuss the results and how they fit into your financial independence plan. Now, that meeting can take place in 1 of 3 ways, depending on what is mutually convenient. If you're in the neighborhood, or if you want to take a trip into the neighborhood, we'd be happy to meet you here face-to-face in our offices in Manhattan on Park Avenue. Otherwise, we can easily arrange a phone call, or if you prefer, we can arrange a video conferencing session. So that about wraps it up as far as the process. All of this information that I just went through was provided in the letter that you received last week. And if you have further questions on it, by all means, feel free to contact Dave Novak, and we'll give you his email address. That's dnovak, D-N-O-V-A-K, at altfest.com. And feel free to send him an email or give him a call at 212-406-0850. Once again, 212-406-0850 if you have any logistical questions about the benefits at all. So that concludes the informational portion. Now we'd like to get to the questions.
Right, and I see that so far there aren't any questions that have come in yet. I know our colleague Darren DeMarco is standing by so that if any questions do come, he can let us know what the questions are and we can go over and take a look and then answer. Since there aren't any that have come into the chat box yet, though, Paul, maybe let me ask you a question, which I know is some dentists have asked us offline, which is there's been so much wondering about Social Security. Is it going to exist in a few years? Mm-hmm. Is it not going to exist with all these budget cuts and the fighting between the members of Congress? So is this benefit really something worth taking advantage of if it might not be around in a few years?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the things, in addition to being, as you see in a bio sheet, I do a tremendous amount of financial planning. I'm in charge of the firm's financial planning activities, as does Mike in our retirement planning. Clients routinely ask us about Social Security. We feel that for people who are approaching retirement, despite the headlines in the news, we don't feel like there's any material reason to worry about any significant benefit reductions in Social Security. Now, certainly there may be changes over time, but we would expect those to affect more people in their 20s or 30s. One of the things you read is there could be, in the shorter term, the potential adjustments to the cost of living, adjustments with benefits every year, but again, we would consider those to have an extremely modest effect on Social Security benefits for anybody who's approaching benefit time or retirement age. Do we have another question?
Yes. There's one question that has come in, not a Social Security question, but it's a question about, it says, from one of our member dentists, it says, what is the typical management fee for $1 million portfolio? And so, to let you know, for $1 million portfolio, the firm Altfest charges 1% of the assets under management. And what's also very important to be aware of is, though, as a special benefit that NYSDA and Altfest have agreed upon, for the first year of being a member of the Altfest Personal Wealth Management family, NYSDA dentists have a 10% reduction in that first year's fee. So that was the first question.
One thing I would throw in there as well is, we're talking about Social Security and we're talking about financial planning, and we pay a great deal of attention to financial planning. It's extremely important, and we do not charge extra for that. That's folded into the management fee all of our clients' financial planning needs. Next question.
Yes, the next question I'm going to read it out loud, Paul. It says, my wife turned 62 in 2 months. Is there anything that needs to be done? What is my first step? Well, that's a perfect question, because basically there's nothing that needs to be done right now in terms of working with Social Security or contacting the Social Security office unless you actually wanted to take a benefit. For instance, when you turn 62, that's the earliest age that one can take a Social Security retirement benefit. So if one was planning to take it at age 62, then we usually recommend to contact the Social Security office about 3 months before, because it takes a while to process the paperwork so that you can start getting your benefit right after you turn 62. However, this is a great lead into the Social Security optimal choice analysis benefit, because in the majority of cases, assuming that one doesn't need the money right now, one doesn't urgently need the money right now, and if that's the case, then one would recommend to take benefits at 62. But if one doesn't really need the money right now, one can wait a little bit. And if also one can look at one's family's life history and see that one's family has a shortened life history, that would be potentially a reason to take benefits at an earlier age so that you can maximize the benefits. But if there isn't shortness of longevity in your family health history, and one doesn't need the benefits, then what we would recommend is don't do anything to contact Social Security now. Take advantage of this member benefit program. Fill in the just small amount of information that's required, either by sending your statements, both yours and your spouse's statements, to us in the mail, or if one has concerns about sensitive information, just to fill out page 2 that was provided in the mailing that was sent to you, send that to David Novak, and we'll be able to do the analysis and crunch the numbers and then get back to you to set up a meeting to let you know when is the optimal time for you and your spouse to take either benefits on your own record, or for one of you to take a spousal benefit and wait for benefits to take on that person's record. And by doing so, you'll be able to maximize the benefits over your and your spouse's lifetime. So it's a great question, but most Americans take their benefit at 62, and that's usually not the best course of action, but often many people take it because they have to. They need the money, and they really need the funding immediately. If you don't have to do it, we recommend to wait. So, Paul and Darren, do we have another question?
Yes. The next question was, why should I take Social Security at 66 and not 70? That's precisely the reason we're doing this member benefit, because there can be good reasons for waiting. There also sometimes can be good reasons for taking the benefit earlier. And so it really is a highly individualized decision. Depends on a number of factors, and that's why we're providing this benefit, because it is not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Okay, the The next question is, what is the maximum amount that I can earn while collecting Social Security without affecting my Social Security benefit?
Now that's a very good question, and let me get specific because I know that my memory is not the best, so I always have to refer to notes. And so the question is, it really depends. So if you are working after you hit your full retirement age, then your working will not penalize you in any way regarding your benefits. So if you're past your full retirement age, which for people, most people that are on this call is probably full retirement age is 66, your 66th birthday. If you're working after your 66th birthday and you haven't started taking any benefits yet, then you're fine. However, if you're thinking of taking Social Security retirement benefits before your full retirement age, that's when a penalty comes into effect. And by that I mean that in 2014, if you make more than $15,480 by earnings, your work, and you're taking Social Security benefits, then what's going to happen is $1 of Social Security benefits is going to be withheld for every $2 of earnings that you have in excess of that $15,480 amount. That's one thing. However, the other thing is that if you're working in the year that you turn 66, in the year that you turn your full retirement age, then there's a higher threshold. And in that case, the Social Security is penalizing you, but penalizing you less. And by that I mean is that in the year before you turn 66, your earnings your Social Security benefits will be reduced by $1 for every $3 of earnings that you have in excess of $41,000 and $41,400. So you can see that if you're taking a Social Security retirement benefit before your full retirement age and you're earning above the thresholds that Social Security has determined, you will be getting a penalty. So we usually recommend, if you don't need to take the money, and of course if there isn't a shortness of family health history is causing people to pass away at an earlier age, we would recommend to avoid that, to avoid the penalty.
Okay, I think we might have time for one more question. I think a gentleman might have asked, Darren, correct me if I'm wrong, whether we do estate planning and whether we charge, what we charge for that. Was that the question?
And living trust.
And a living trust. So, as I alluded to before, as part of our investment management services, we do financial planning for our clients in many different areas, and we help them figure out estate planning as well as with year-end tax planning and retirement planning and insurance analysis and all the areas, mortgage advice and all the areas of financial planning. And as we noted before, because we're fee-only advisors, we have no vested interest financially in any of those decisions that you may make. We talk to our clients, our ongoing clients, about estate planning. As a matter of fact, I was in a meeting just a couple of hours ago with a client where that very subject came up, the subject of estate planning and trusts. We're not attorneys here, so what we do with our ongoing clients is we discuss it with our clients in the context of their overall financial planning goals, and then we can introduce them to estate attorneys if clients don't have their own attorneys, who will then draw up whatever legal documents, be they trusts or wills or power of attorneys or anything else that need to be handled. So the answer is yes, we work with our ongoing clients on estate planning and every other kind of financial planning, and then we bring in additional resources such as attorneys when that's called for.
Okay. Well, I know I'm going to let Paul wrap up the presentation, but I wanted to say on behalf of all of us here at Altfest Personal Wealth Management, and I know that the leadership of the New York State Dental Association and Dr. Feldman, who was so gracious to kick off this webinar, we're really excited about this newest member benefit for NYSDA members. And I know we didn't have time to get to all the questions today because the questions started out slowly, but then they really started to ramp up. So there are a ton of questions now. What I would say is, if the questions that you have, take advantage of this benefit so that you'll be able to ask those questions and get them answered in a personalized, private consultation at no charge between yourselves and Altfest Personal Wealth Management. And now I'll turn it over to Paul to close the webinar.
Okay. Thanks very much, Mike, and thank you all very much for attending today's webinar about the new Social Security Optimal Choice benefit for NYSDA members. We do hope you found it helpful. Let me just conclude by once again encouraging you, as Mike did, to take advantage of this special benefit and to encourage your NYSDA colleagues to take advantage of it as well. We really are confident that you will find the analysis helpful, and we look forward to sharing our recommendations and our insights with you. So remember, if you have questions, please contact David Novak. Once again, the phone number 212-406-0850, or via email at dnovak, DNOVAK, @altfest.com. Until we speak again, goodbye and have a nice evening.